Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next videos. And I know these are later though. Another more actors who passed away, but one's these in this video I'm splitting it into two because there's four I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the first. I'm gonna be in this video. I'm gonna talk about the first two, and then next video I'm gonna talk about the next two though. So I don't want to make it as an all at once, so longer video. But these two actors, they passed away. Not recent, but it would say it was kind of recent, But first I want to talk about the first one who passed away back in September. So yeah, so it was not that long ago though. So but because I never got around to do a video of him though. But I liked this actor. So the first one we talk about is actor Graham Greene. Um, which I always known him as more. I remember first seeing him in the first in the not the first, but he was a cop. He was of John McClane's one of his cop buddies in the third Die Hard movie. Was named Joe. He was one of John McClane's cop buddies in the third Die Hard movie with a Vengeance. That's why, by the way, when I first saw Graham Greene. Um, and then of course he was probably known as starring as the character Kicking Bird in Dances with Wolves. He was like the lead chief of the Indians in Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner. That's probably one of the roles he's probably known for starring in that film. Um, then I remember he was also in Maverick with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster. And of course, I know him. He was in North, one of the worst comedies of all times. North, where young kid Elijah Wood, were searching for new parents, and Graham Greene was one of these Eskimos in Alaska, and so. But yeah, but North. That's another story though. But then like I said, Die Hard with the Vengeance. He was one of the cops in buddies of John McClane. Um, and then I remember he was also another one. I remember he was one of the inmates in the Green Mile. The character Arlen Bitterbuck. He was the first prisoner to be executed on the electric chair. Yeah, he had this one conversation with Tom Hanks in which saying, is that what heaven is like? And Tom Hanks is kind of shaking his head like, yeah. And so yeah, when he got into the electric chair, it was David Morris who was doing the executing, and he started a couple more things. I know he was in Snow Dogs, the Disney film Snow Dogs with Cuba Gooding Jr. and James Coburn. And then after that, I mean, he's starting too many films. I didn't follow up after that though. But yeah, he was in the second Twilight movie, New Moon. And of course, he started with one of the ripoffs. Like how sci-fi. When a major blockbuster comes out in one year, and then sci-fi tries to rip off with the kind of like the same title, right? Well, he started this. He started one of those sci-fi ripoffs called Atlantic Rim. Get it? Atlantic Rim, Pacific Rim, because it was released in the same year as Pacific Rim, like shortly afterwards. Yeah, the sci-fi did that, to try to cash in on the popular blockbuster sci-fi movies, So yeah, like Pacific Rim, and then shortly afterwards there's the Atlantic Rim. But he was in that. He was an admiral in that. I never saw it because sci-fi's films are, especially the asylums, they're 99.9% shit, so with such cheap lackluster effects, poor acting, so but Graham Greene, and after that I didn't follow too many films I'm too familiar with after that, so but Graham Greene, yeah, I liked him, passed away on September 1st at the age of 73. He was born in Canada. but probably is more like, yeah, were Native Americans up in Canada because the whole continent before the whole continent became to be so. But anyway, don't matter. But I liked him regardless though. 73 years old. But I remember what I said from the third Die Hard film, Dances with Wolves, The Green Mile. But sad though. But so rest in peace to Graham Greene. And then the second one I'm going to talk about in this video is who passed away November 3rd, so a month ago now. Diane Ladd. Diane Ladd. Probably pretty known that she used to be married to actor Bruce Dern, and her daughter is Laura Dern. Laura Dern, starring in many films like Jurassic Park, most notably. Yeah, but that Laura Dern, that was her mom, Diane Ladd, and I said she used to be married to Bruce Dern. And she starred in quite a few films throughout her career, especially from back then. I know if it was a TV show that she starred from back then. Let me see here. There was a role. She appeared in a few episodes of Gunsmoke. I know there was a series. I think it was called Alice from the 80s. I know there was a way she was one of the main roles that she had in. Yeah, well, she from the TV show Alice, yeah. Hmm. Maybe I was thinking something else, but oh. But as far as film concerns, oh yeah, that's right. It was a mini series. It was a Stephen King. It was a Stephen King mini series. It was called Kingdom Hospital. Yeah, I think that's probably what I was thinking of. Yeah, from 2004. Yeah, Stephen King's Kingdom Hospital. But as for films go, I remember probably for me though, but I didn't know much too much of Diane Ladd growing up though, but I remember her really, believe it or not, I really first saw her when she first starred in the film Carnosaur. Yeah, the 1993 Carnosaur, where they came out shortly just before Jurassic Park, coincidentally, with Laura Dern in it, so. But it came out a month before Jurassic Park, though. Yeah, I reviewed the first Carnosaur films, even the other ones long ago. I like the first Carnosaur, but it's my least favorite of that trilogy. I think the sequels are much better than the first film. Like Carnosaur 2, yeah, it's basically a ripoff of Aliens, but to me it's a better ripoff of Aliens. And I like Carnosaur 3, Primal Species. Those two are much better than the first film. I know, I can say that for a fact though, but Carnosaur I like though, but it's like I said, it's the least of my favorite of the trilogy. But I can definitely say it's a lot better than that stupid so-called sequel, a film called Raptor, which that starred Eric Roberts, which really just took all the footage from the first three movies and they just took it and put it into that movie. Now I didn't know at the time because I was a kid back then because I didn't know if they were reusing footage from other movies were though. But even watching the Raptor, I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. That was a different person though, and that's why I realized later on they did use footages from the first three movies. And there was also that movie called something at Eden. Eden. It had Tony Todd and Dee Wallace in it. They also took footage from those movies as well. So I did say the first Carnosaur film is definitely better than those movies easily. But Diane Ladd, that's why I first saw Diane Ladd in the first Carnosaur film. She was the one who engineered these dinosaur eggs and to impregnate women to to restart the dinosaur population again, to get rid of all the women because no women can't breed, so they humanity will become extinct. Basically, it's what like she said in the like she said in the movie, the Earth wasn't made for us. She was made for the dinosaurs. Human beings are like ants crawling through their living room. That's what she said. So yeah, the first Carnosaur film. And then of course she started. Of course that's later I seen her in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which I enjoy that film. That's my favorite of the vacation movies. I enjoy that film. They later she starred in films like let's see here, White Lightning, from back then, Wild Angels, 40 Pounds of Trouble. That was an uncredited role. Chinatown, which I reviewed not that long ago with Jack Nicholson, and probably did I mention she was in that? Probably missed it though, but she was. I did review Chinatown though. That's like pretty much the only Roman Polanski movie I liked, because I like Jack Nicholson, and so Chinatown was the only one I liked from that director. I'm not big on him as a director overall, but I like Chinatown. She was in that. Something wicked comes this way. Then afterwards, Kiss Before Dying, Rambling Rose. Then she started 28 days. That was with Sandra Bullock. And then films I didn't follow up afterwards later on though. But and then like I said, the miniseries Stephen King's Kingdom Hospital. So yeah, Diane Ladd passed away at the age of 89, just less than 4 weeks short of her 90th birthday at the end of November. So yeah, so at the end of the month of November, she would have turned 90. So yeah, Diane Ladd. And also the Ghost of Mississippi and Primary Colors. That was also the films that she also starred in. So yeah, but Diane Ladd, yeah. So yeah, I think of me. The first one I seen her was the first Carnosaur film. How yeah, to a lot of people it is a horrible movie, which I know it is. I know it's a bad movie, but it was something about the first Carnosaur film that kind of made me like well, because I like the practical puppets of the Deinonychus and the T Rex and some of the gory bits I liked, and also I've mentioned Harrison Page, who played the sheriff in that movie, who later starred, which in this came out this year, Magazine Dreams, with Jonathan Majors, who played his grandfather. I was like, oh, holy shit, that's Harrison Page, who was the sheriff in the first Carnosaur movie. I'll be damned. But I enjoy Magazine Dreams. Check out my review of it, though. So I enjoy that film. That's one of my favorite films of this year, and Jonathan Majors did a really great job. What do you think of the guy nowadays? Guilty or not? That's another. I already mentioned that, so I'm not opening up the whole can of worms again. But Diane Ladd and Graham Greene. So rest in peace to the both of them. And then the next video, I got the other two more actors who passed away as well. So, but I just want to do it all at once because I didn't want to make it as a long video it is. So, but those who know about who've seen films with Graham Greene and Diane Ladd. So rest in peace to both of them. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next the two actors in the next video. And see you on that video. Later.